Hello everybody, welcome to episode 32 of Papel Podcast. Today we'll be covering the Pangya Mobile news screenshots. We got a few new screenshots and a bunch of new information. And we'll also be covering the official statement that Pangya Global released on the forums regarding the closing of Korea and how it may or may not affect our server. So let's get right into it. Okay, so as you guys probably know already, recently Pangya Korea announced that they will be closing down their servers for good on August 29th, 2016. And this got a lot of people in the community really scared because usually if Korea closes, that means everybody's going to close. But Japan came out and said that they are the new source code owner, so they will be managing Pangya as a franchise from now on. And their server won't get affected at all. Thailand came out at the same time as Japan and said that it won't affect their server at all, and for the fans to not worry. But it took about 2 weeks for our server, Pangya Global, to actually officially come out and say something regarding the closing of Korea, which was really concerning in multiple ways. And we talked about this a bit on our last episode regarding what's happening on the forums and how apparently the administrator was having like a week holiday at the time and it was just poorly scheduled or something, so whatever. But a few days ago we did get an official statement, and this is what it reads. With the recent announcement by Pangya Korea that their service will be closing late August, it is naturally raising concerns and questions for any Pangya player. While it is unfortunate to see a version of Pangya close, Pangya Global, published by Smilegate West, will continue to be serviced. The announcement made by Pangya Korea is only in reference to the Korean service and does not represent the global service. Thank you for your continued support and see you on the greens, Pangya team. So this announcement is kind of weird in a way. Like, it's good. They said that as far as we know, for the next, for the next while, we're not going to close anytime soon. But I mean, we just had an update today and it was only 3 hours and there was nothing new, and I'm still a bit concerned that, you know, maybe they can release this and say that they're not going to close anytime soon, but they can still close in the future, and we still don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. So this doesn't clear up too much, but at least it puts people's worries kind of on rest for a little while. Something interesting that I found is that they said that Pangya Global is published by Smilegate West, which actually is, and my concern, and even Pangya Thailand pointed this out, is that we thought Pangya Global might close because of Smilegate Megaport being tied to Pangya Global. But we're run by Smilegate West, which is technically a different branch, so maybe that's why we're not getting affected by their closing. No one really knows, but people on the forums are still going kind of crazy and like arguing and yelling at each other, and it is still a really weird time for us players because we're still scared that our server could very well close and we don't know what to do. But really, as I've stated on the forums, all we really know for sure right now is that our server isn't closing down and won't be affected at all by Korea's closing, since our server is managed by Smilegate West, not Smilegate Megaport. Japan has a source code for Pangya, allowing them to create content and manage the franchise, and Thailand is safe and will continue as they always have. That's all we know, and that's all we're going to get for at least a little while. So I guess all we can do is just wait and see how this plays out. If the server closes, it closes. We move on. Maybe something great and new will come out from this. Maybe not. We'll just have to really wait and see and be patient. And I know that sucks, but that's all we can really do. Something I also wanted to talk about that actually a friend on Skype pointed out to me. It was really interesting that Pangya Korea, since they're closing, a lot of the Korean players are actually planning to move to Pangya Global. And I thought that was interesting because when I first thought of this, I would have thought that they would have moved to Pangya Japan, or at least Pangya Thailand. But it does make more sense to go to Global, because Global is the only server that doesn't require some sort of VPN change, or IP block, or, you know, any sort of complications like that. Pangya Global, you make an account, you download it, you're in. it's very easy. With Japan, if you want to play it from outside of Japan, you need a VPN. You need to create an account, and that's very difficult. You have to use Japanese characters. And Thailand has some sort of security code as well, and it's basically similar to what Korea was as well, so very complicated stuff. But I think this could be good for global because obviously, new players, the more the players, the better, and they still get to play Pangya, and it still gets to continue. And our stuff is pretty good, it's just we're kind of still worried about content updates from here on out. But yeah, I just thought this was really interesting, and I think if the GMs and moderators manage this right, I'm not sure what really they could do. I mean, there's a huge language barrier, obviously. But if they manage this right, they could, profit off this quite well and keep the momentum going from here on out. But I guess what we'll have to see and wait. But the big news that came out today, which I am extremely excited for, is Pangya Mobile. We finally got some sort of update. We got, I think it was like 6 or 7 new screenshots, and we haven't heard from this game in 2 years. It got announced in 2014 for a release date in 2015. We didn't see a new trailer, we didn't hear any new info, we didn't see any new screenshots since 2014 in December. And that's a long wait, and obviously it got delayed till this year. But they did reconfirm it. It is 100% coming out by the second half of 2016, so that will be, December, November, October, and September. So one of those months it will come out. And apparently, I'm not sure if this is 100% confirmed yet, but I have read on multiple articles in the past and even recently that they plan to bring it to Korea first, then Japan and Thailand, and that will all be before the end of 2016, and then Europe and USA in the first half of 2017. So that's not really a bad wait for us English people, because that's only maybe 4 months after the release at the most. So I really think it's gonna be a fun game. But I'll show you the screenshots now. They're very cool. And something of note is that they did a great job at upgrading the graphics since the last time we've seen it. Specifically in the facial features and the hair. If you look at the hair, each hair has its own strand. It's really detailed, and it's even more detailed than anything we've seen in Pangya PSP or Pangya PC, anything we've seen before. And it just looks really, really good. You can even tell that they've added some sort of cell shading around the corners. I mean, this is a mobile game, so obviously they want to make the characters look really defined, so then you can distinguish them on a smaller screen. So I think that was a really smart move. And of course, from these screenshots, we got a few new looks at, some new things. First of all, I noticed that the 2 courses that they showed off, which is the Blue Lagoon and the Sepia Wind type of course, it's technically that, but it has a different name, I forget the name. These models and, background features are all updated, they're completely different to what they were 2 years ago, and they look a lot better, and a lot more Pangya-like, if that makes any sense. And the funnest thing is we got our first look at Papel, what he looks like in Pangya Mobile, and I was actually quite worried that he wasn't going to be in Pangya Mobile at all, as silly as that was, because all we saw before was Dolphini, and because you can play as the caddies, you can play as Lola, you can play as Cartier and Tiki and Kuma and all that, because you can play as them, you obviously can't use them as caddies, so what they have to do is only use Dolphini and Papel, and maybe other ones, but we haven't seen them yet. But he looks really good, and I can't wait to use him. And something else that I noticed from the screenshots that we actually get a first look at Nuri. Nuri is actually a playable character, and this is really good because I was really concerned that we didn't see anything about Nuri or Hannah. I mean, I would expect them to be in the game. They're the first 2 characters. It's obvious, but it is confirmed. At least Nuri's in the game, and according to the text, every character's in the game now. We just haven't seen them all, so I'm really excited, and he looks really good in the game, and he's actually doing like this huge tomahawk shot towards this pirate Dolphini. It looks really fun and wacky, so I can't wait to play. Now, along with this, we actually got an official statement, saying, announcing a few new modes and kind of how the game is overall, and I did translate it the best ability that I could, and this is what it says. It says, Pangya Mobile will feature a variety of new modes and items. Along with all the existing Pangya characters, there will be new characters introduced in this game, with more than 200 clothing items for each character to customize to your liking. Play different game modes to earn rewards and progress through the game. Tour mode is where you can learn the character's story and battle computer players to gain rewards. Challenge mode is an all-new mode which gives you missions to complete within the time limit. Finally, tournament mode lets you compete with other players online just like in the PC version. There is a wide variety of courses to enjoy. The more you play, the more reward, clothes, and items you will gain. You can even unlock different technologies which will allow you to use special powers during play, such as controlling the wind or seeing the green slope. Pangya Mobile will release in Korea during the second half of 2016. So I thought that was really cool, and I am excited that they officially announced a story mode. Wasn't entirely sure that there was going to be a story mode when this first came out, but it seems like they're kind of taking the best two elements from both the PSP, the Wii, and even the PC game. They're taking the online tournament mode from the PC game, letting you play players online, and they're also taking the story mode and kind of, the offline kind of modes from the PSP and Wii game, which I really love, and I'm glad we're going to continue that and hopefully see some new story elements. Who knows what else they're going to bring to it, but it's really cool, and I'm glad that they did confirm that every single character from Pangya will be returning as a playable character, in addition to new ones. Of course, we've seen you can play as your caddies, and we have seen that new character, which isn't really new. She's from the game Alicia. It's another Retrieve game, and it was like a horse riding game back in the day, but that closed down a few years ago, and I guess they just kind of added her to the game as like a tribute or something, but new characters are better, so why not? It's also really sweet that I've been going around Twitter and different social medias and just seeing the both fan communities of Pangya Korea and official like websites, like gaming sites. Like there's this one called This Is Game, and it's like one of the biggest gaming websites in Korea, and they've posted tributes and posted how their memories were of like their first course and like getting their first characters and stuff, and I thought that was really good. And I did post my video tribute. You can see it in the link below. And I don't know, I just thought at such a time where Pangya's, evolving, we're getting a new mobile game, which is the first time that's ever happened. And we just got a new course in Japan. Japan now owns the game, and Korea's closing down. It is a really weird time, but it's awesome to see the community kind of come together and say goodbye to the server, and I don't know, I thought that was really good. So really, that's all we have to talk about today. There isn't a whole lot of news coming out, but I'm glad we did finally hear something about Pangya Mobile. I knew we would hear something soon, according to all my sources and whatnot. And everything I said on the forums maybe a month ago or something, did actually turn out to be true, so that's really good. And I'll be covering everything as it comes, so please just stay tuned, and I'll let you guys know what happens. Bye!